Okay. Yes, good evening, members. I think let's start by some few seconds from now, 10 minutes past 8. Yeah, good evening, members. I think I want to start by welcoming everybody for today's ProDev hour issues that are in our different pedagogies as we deliver our lesson. Tonight, we are privileged to have Matthias Mulumba, who, who is our facilitator for the evening. Uh, Mulumba has been with us for quite long. He is not new to us, and he has delivered content that every one of us who has ever attended has a testimony to tell. Now, members, today's topic is teaching of cross-cutting issues in competence-based curriculum, which is the curriculum embraced by Ministry of Education and Sport and is the one being implemented now. Learning doesn't stop. We have to learn time and again, and you cannot exhaust knowledge. And that's why we keep on updating our teachers, we keep on training them, we keep on sensitizing them through this forum of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union Professional Development Hour. ProDev is Professional Development Hour, where we have to uh, educate our members through a platform that is normally done every Thursday, every week. This has been a very big innovation, which is of its kind. I think this, when you look at the labor union in East Africa and Uganda, it is the only, UPSTO is the only union uh, embracing this kind of program and has initiated to see that its members stay abreast of what is going on as they deliver the lesson to make the country go ahead in a scientific direction. As our number continues to grow and online, I would like to just give a few briefs. Thank, first of all, the leadership of the union for accepting this program to be a yearly program that is conducted weekly, and we normally invite uh, people of substance to help our teachers. Cutting issues from I chase you away that you are art teachers. Why you attending this? But it's for all teachers in Uganda. So I believe other schools are attending as a school. We may see as a few, but others are attend as a school. You may see only one individual, but very many would be attending behind that. So I would like to thank most schools that do that. It is an act of collaboration. I would like to thank everybody who has joined us and everybody who normally joined us for this program of today that we have it. I don't want to waste much of the time. May I take this opportunity to invite Mulumba Matemba Matthias. I remain Kizito, the Secretary for Education Committee, Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. You are all welcome. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you, our host, for giving the introductory remarks. Hello, members. You are all welcome. My name is Mulumba Mutema Matthias, a freelance educator and a technical advisor on competence-based education. I'm here to be part of the sharing that we are going to have this evening of the ProDev hour. We want to thank the administration and management of UPSTAP for organizing this continuous professional development time. We thank you and want to thank all those online that you are most welcome to this session. We would like to start. Our topic today is teaching of cross-cutting issues in the Uganda lower secondary curriculum. All of you are aware, as we go to the next slide, that since 2020, we are teaching a new curriculum, which is named the lower secondary curriculum. And on that note, I'd like to take you into this picture. Choose one picture you like most and tell us what it means. So members on the call, I have 17 numbers. You choose one that you like most and tell us what it means. You can write in the chat as well as you can raise your hand and share with us. Chair, help me to host, help me to get the people's hands.
Judith has chosen A.
A.
Family.
So, and for height means family. Another one. Another one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, up to number 17. You choose one and tell us what it means. I'm waiting for the hands. MJ Mbabazi has said male and female. That is what he has seen in number 1. Most people are taking number 1. What about others on the call? Tell us what you see and choose the one that you like most. Somebody has taken number 14 and he has called it
number
is
14. I'm choosing number 14.
Yo, 14. Sebande de Calveri has also said the number 14. Then number 6, somebody has said the gender. Let us now see the name of each. And this
number 14,
in the
I'm
next
seeing
slide.
life in water.
Life in water, you are welcome. So in the next slide, number 1, is about eradicating poverty. Next slide. We share next slide. There should be no poverty among men, women, boys, and girls. Number 2 is zero hunger. Number 3 is good health and well-being, all of us. Number 4 is quality education. Number 5 is gender equality. Number 6 is clean water. And somebody talked about number 14 is life below water. Then somebody is pointing at number 16 is about peace, justice, and strong institutions. Number 11 is about sustainable cities and communities. These are called the Sustainable Development Goal in the Agenda 2030. So the lower secondary curriculum is anchored into this global thinking, where we wanted to have quality education. We wanted people to be productive, decent work, and economic growth, because the question was, what can you do with what you know, what you understand, and what you have skills in? We wanted to ensure when people do that, then they can have no poverty. They can have no hunger. They can have good health. So if we improve the quality of education through the competence-based curriculum, we are aiming at that. So how did they come out? In the next slide, how were these packed in our curriculum? We have identified these sustainable development goals, and they were taken to our curriculum. The next slide. You raise your arm to tell us how those things that we have talked about, hunger, quality education, life below water, sustainable communities, are represented in our syllabuses. Do you have an idea of how these things are represented in our syllabus? Somebody can raise up his hand and tell us how those things that we have been talking about the sustainable development goals. So one person has told us in the chat, environmental awareness was captured by many of the syllabuses. So, and we codenamed them or gave them a name called cross-cutting issues. And that is our topic today. How are these cross-cutting issues taught by you, the teachers, and how are they learned by our learners? That is our focus today. And I wanted to bring the global idea, then come down to where we put them in the syllabus. And in the syllabus, we are saying they appear as cross-cutting issues. And Ronald has emphasized environmental awareness as one of the cross-cutting issues that is in our syllabus. Another one has talked about humanity. We can go to the next slide. So here, I say that they were embedded in the curriculum framework. But when you go to the syllabus of physics, the syllabus of chemistry, the syllabus of English, mathematics, biology, geography, name it, these cross-cutting issues appear. So when the cross-cutting issues appear, we don't just leave them in the syllabus. We must transfer them to our classrooms. And that is what we are going to discuss today. How are they taught? How are they unpacked from the syllabus into the teaching activities, into the classroom for the learners to learn them. We move to the next slide. So these cross-cutting issues, just to remind you, I picked the page. They include environmental awareness. Another one is health awareness. As you saw in the Sustainable Development Goal, number 2 was about health awareness. Then number 5 was about gender, which is taking care of the needs of boys and girls in your classroom. And we named it mixed abilities and their involvement. Then socio-economic issues. You remember number 1 was about poverty in the Sustainable Development Goals. So we are talking about that. Then citizenship and patriotism, which we packaged in many syllabuses, and life skills, which come out as making informed decisions, practicing healthy behavior. You take avoiding risky situations, changing your attitude to become a good citizen, solving problems you meet in different situations, and coping with stress and controlling your emotions as you interact with others. So these cross-cutting issues that were put in the syllabus are to be taught. Then how do we do it is the focus today. I hope you have been practicing, you have been embedding them in your activities. So let me share how I would approach it if I'm the one. Next slide. So these sustainable development goals can be achieved. Like for quality education, we decided to make the curriculum follow a learner-centered pedagogy or competence-based outcome for quality education. Sustainable Development Goal 5 is about gender equality. So gender equity and equality is a cross-cutting issues. We are asking you, how are you making the learners to get engaged, each learner to have a voice in the class? So we told you to put the learners in groups, and most people have complied. They teach when the learners are in groups. Climate action, which is Sustainable Development Goal 13, here in geography, it is a topic, climate, about climate and climate change. But in other subjects, we have talked about environmental sustainability projects and the assessment body when it was taking students' work to contribute to their final results. This was one of the themes, sustainability. Decent work and economic growth. We are asking everybody in your subjects to ensure that learners acquire skills. They acquire entrepreneurship skills. And many learners are opting to do a vocational subject. Or at first, when the curriculum was beginning, we had put that we have dual certification where DIT was supposed to take care of the vocational pathway. Currently now I'm seeing schools, they are doing it in a different way. They are calling it do-it-yourself, DIY program, to ensure that learners have decent work and they contribute to economic growth. Then partnership. Some schools are doing partnerships with the communities or industries where they collaborate to teach the students. Some of you take the students out to some industries to learn. So all of these are part and parcel of the curriculum. They are activities we engage in. So our curriculum is integrated. It integrates many pieces. And if I'm in Uganda, I could call it Katogo, where you mix a number of things and serve a meal. We can go to the next slide. So in the syllabus, they are represented by this visual that in all subjects, we would like to see the cross-cutting issues integrated. And as this visual depicts it, whether you are doing the electives or you are doing the compulsory subjects, we expect you to do environmental awareness, health awareness, gender equity and gender equality, life skills, socio-economic issues, handle them, citizenship, and patriotism. So how do they come out in details is our focus. The next slide. So members, this is an example. And from you, what subject is here that I'm trying to bring out, or that could use this as an example of showing cross-cutting issues? Any person can give us a response through the chat or by raising your hand. Somebody is saying entrepreneurship, very good. That is Ronald, has given us a response here in the chat and is saying entrepreneurship. So there is a business idea here going on.
I also see fine art, making
Fine
things
art.
to look nice.
To look
By work
nice.
of art, yeah. And then
Great.
handcraft, I could say locally, handcraft.
Handicraft.
Yes.
So it is all. Then for Betty, it is skills development for the young girls. But what one of the young girls here, when you look at the head, somebody has said chemistry using materials. Another one is saying talent and skills. That is Alodochube. So in number 2, when you look at the head, what do you see in the head of that young lady? Do you see anything? Head of number 2.
Me, I see other things which were not there being added.
Hey, which one? Tell us.
I can't see clearly. There is something on the right hand of somebody putting on this.
Ojangole has already seen it. It is a hair comb. There is a hair comb.
Thank you.
When you see the hair comb, which subject are we going in? Somebody is saying health awareness. Great. Which subject does this hair comb and the hair on the head represent?
I see physics, use of machines.
Great.
Simple machines, yes.
Yasin, you have your hand up. You can unmute.
Yes, we got the next slide. Sorry for the interruption. The next slide, Rogers. So there is a learning outcome in physics which says, understand everyday effects of static electricity and explain them in terms of the build-up and transfer of electric charge. So when you use that comb on your hair, the comb gets charged. And if you used it for a long time and get it some pieces of paper on the ground that are teared apart, the comb can start picking those papers. And that is the experience most physics teachers give us. They don't take us to the level of saying, can you now start designing better combs for people to use with their hair? They stop at this activity of the comb lifting the piece of papers. In my class, the teacher just told us to use our pen and rub in your head with the hair. And then he chopped the papers, and wherever you could bring your pen there, it could lift, and he said, oh, you can see magic in physics. And that was the end. But every day, our female counterparts are building up and transferring electric charge from their hair to the comb. So the combing practice transfers electrons from the hair to the comb by friction. So by just looking at this activity in real life, you are seeing an integration of two topics. One is friction, another one is static electricity. But when people are talking about the two, they put them apart. They are not integrated. So the students miss out the gist. But the transfer of electron does not only occur in this situation, it occurs even in other situations. And that is where we need to be even more environmentally aware. What would be the effect if electrons get transferred from one material to another and they build up? As we move to the next slide, you will realize that there will be very many effects. If you have gas cylinders for the hospital and electrons are moving from one part to another, when these cylinders are close to each other, electrons will be moving from one cylinder to another. If they accumulate at one point, you can see fire in the store of the gas cylinders. So we need to emphasize safety protocols, because the electrons, as they move in their orbit, for you they are small, they are too tiny. Chemistry tells us that they are very tiny. You cannot see them with your eyes. But if they build up, they can cause a fire. And this fire can be dangerous to us. When you have wastes and the waste accumulates, it transfers electrons. But if it is in a eucalyptus garden, it can cause fire in the forest. There is a country in Europe which is experiencing wildfires, and nobody set the fire because electrons were moving and they accumulated and they found dry leaves, and it caused the fire. So as people who have studied physics, chemistry, and so on, we need to be responsible citizens, not to cause death or damage to the environment as we study. So the teacher teaching about production, there was that you carry out an experiment to produce oxygen. Do you go up to this extent, telling them that If you store oxygen in a cylinder and there are very many of them, electrons will be moving from one part to another. And if they accumulate at a particular point, they can cause a fire. Has the teacher done that? He stops at drawing the diagram of preparation of oxygen, and that is it. And it reminds me during COVID, we were looking for the chemistry teachers to produce oxygen, and they were nowhere. So that is one thing we needed to work on, how we integrate the knowledge we have, use it, and apply it as responsible citizens. And when you do that, then you are speaking to the cross-cutting issues. We move to the next slide. So, can we suggest ways to reduce static electricity at our home or in our community? I want some people to raise up their hand and tell us, because we have materials, and from chemistry point of view, they have orbits around them and electrons are moving. And the electrons in the outermost shell can be easily transferred to another material. And if they accumulate, there is static electricity and it can cause danger to us. So can we suggest ways to reduce static electricity in our homes and in our community? I'm waiting for some answers. In the chat, I'm waiting. Or you can raise your arm. Let me put it in a simple way. Do we drink water which is in plastic bottles? Members, somebody has paid using painted materials. That is one way we can reduce static electricity accumulating. We got the next slide. So there are very many ways we can use to reduce static electricity at home and in our community. Like if we are shopping, we need to carry usable bags, reusable ones. If you are in a shop, do not buy one item, buy in bulk. That is if you have the money. Then carry reusable water bottles, not the plastic ones. You can also say, I don't want plastic things in my home because they are going to cause accumulation of static electricity. So you boycott single-use plastic, you join the reusable revolution, you shop in local material or organic material bags. Some people, instead of buying new things, they buy second-hand, and so on. You consider sharing or hiring materials that can cause accumulation of waste. You choose products that can be recycled, not those that cannot be recycled. So all of these can help us to minimize static electricity. But we teach in organic chemistry about plastics, and we don't reach that level of telling that if we have plastics, they can result in static electricity accumulating and causing danger to our lives. We can move to the next slide. people like these women, they are in electricity, because I was talking about static electricity. If we bring them as examples of women who are talking about electricity, they talk to the children about standard protocol, like the women in number one. One of them is called Patience Nampa. She's an electrical engineer, and she's putting on safety wear. But some of our electricians, they just come in barehanded, without overall coats, without the head cap, and they depict a scaring information about electricity. If we want the females to join this area, then we must bring role models or show such pictures when we are teaching electricity. Engineer Irene Muloney was a minister. She got a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Makerere University. She was minister for a number of years, and she's a respected figure. That topic cannot be complete without bringing these ones. And when you do that, you are integrating gender issues in the topic. And the gender issues are cross-cutting issues. So a teacher teaching electricity and does not bring this in chemistry or physics, then he has not completed the journey. On one hand, it is a career for the women, but also you are demystifying that this is not a job only for men. Even we can have women as high as Honorable Irene Muloney. Then we can attract more female students in the electricity career path. They inspire the female learners. So the topic is not only about the content of static electricity. It goes also to who is dealing with electricity. And by doing that, you are integrating cross-cutting issues in your lesson. Next, we got the next slide. So if we are to use inclusive classrooms, we need to ask both the males and the female learners to investigate contexts where electricity is. If you are in only a mixed school, this should be one of the ways to make the lesson inclusive. And if you are like me, I could ask the students to look for where there is a solar panel in the neighborhood. And we ask a question, is who put the solar panel up on the house? And why is that person? Can people of different sex also do it? So the question has become many, and by doing so, you are integrating the cross-cutting issues. If it is about sustainable energy practices and waste management, as I've already mentioned earlier on, plastics are many in our communities. They are accumulated. We use them for collecting water, for bathing, for taking water, and they are accumulating in our environment, but they are causing a buildup of static electricity. So you find some places, they say, hey, the fire happened in this market, but we don't know the cause. If you checked around, the number of plastics in that community is too big, and the cause is static electricity. So if we have storage areas handling fuel, sometimes you hear the tanker busted, but the reason is static electricity. And when the fuel tanker bursts, the environment is polluted, the organisms are killed. So environmental awareness comes in. How do we protect organisms where such an incident has occurred? Because every organism in the ecosystem has its own contribution. Are the students aware of this? I hear in geography they talk about mining, and now Uganda is going to become one of the countries I hear by December we shall be getting our first oil, and it will be extracted. But are we conscious about protecting other organisms within the area where oil is going to be extracted? Like in Hoima, where we have Mputa 1 and Mputa 2. Are we conscious? So the learners need to be sensitized, not saying in geography we are taking oil exploration and we stop at that. We talk about the machines that can remove oil from the underground and we stop there. We need to go an extra mile to show the children or the learners how the environment needed to be protected. We move to the next slide. This is another example. Looking at this area, what do you think are the main causes and how could the community work together to prevent further damage? There are 1, 2, 3 situations. Anybody to give us what they think are the main causes of this? I'm waiting for the answers in the chat.
I can suggest maybe too much rainfall. Heavy
Too much
rainfall.
rainfall. Very good.
Mm.
And the too much rainfall did what to the area?
It led to soil erosion and also landslides.
Great. I see in the chat, Nasasira is saying lack of trees to hold the soil, preventing the soil runoff. That is a good answer as well. Here, in which subject do we find this topic? If we are going to our syllabus or this content, where could we use this as content to teach? Somebody, but the young Njera Arnold is saying geography, you are right. Auma says geography, you are right. Any other answer? Biology, agriculture, so and so on. I want to emphasize this is the topic of soil and water conservation, and it is a topic or content or a concept that we are teaching in all these subjects. As Samuel was put, geography, they teach about this. In agriculture, they teach about this. In biology, they teach about this. One would say, since biology, geography are compulsory, these topics should occur together such that the students go there once and they see. Then they could suggest how the men, women, and youth could work together to prevent this damage. But many people will say, in geography, we shall teach it in this class. In agriculture, the topic has been put in senior 1. In biology, it is in senior 2. In geography, in another class. So the students do not get it as one complete unit. So what does the teacher need to do? If he's an agriculture teacher, he would like to see that the area can be used for growing more crops, that the area is fertile. Then he has to devise ways of preventing soil erosion. In geography, if we are talking about human geography, he would like to see good settlements, good roads, and economic development in the area. In biology, we look at the soil fauna and the soil flora. We are looking at also at the ecology of the area. All of these together are trying to see how do we build this learner into a holistic person. But it's not holistic until they have added the cross-cutting. Will not be able to produce food, and the people will be able to settle. They will not have where to settle because galleys have been. So you go on looking at this topic. If we talk about health awareness, if water is carried from many miles to this place, and maybe it gathers at one point, it will attract mosquitoes for our case. And if the mosquitoes come, health challenges will emerge. Also, you will find, how do we make informed decisions about this? Should we just look on that, oh, there is too much water passing here? Somebody talked about a landslide. You remember the incident in Bududa. Some of these things were there in Bududa before the landslide. But because the people were not responsible citizens, they didn't say, wait a minute, how can we work together to prevent more of this soil being carried away? So if you teach soil erosion in the class and you don't take the learners to the community to see where really soil erosion is taking place and ask them, what can we do for this community? Then you are not integrating cross-cutting issues. You are teaching facts that will remain in the classroom and they will have no use when the children get out of class. So we want to integrate cross-cutting issues such that the students see the concept in a wider view and how it affects the people and their community. We move to the next slide. So you could ask all of these questions. I'm not going to ask them, but it emphasizes that we can even have a project-based learning task using a driving question. How can we protect soil and act as patriotic individuals in our community? Or how can teamwork and innovation help the community conserve soil in this area? So the children will see how can they team up the community members to achieve that. How can they convince them that let us work together to prevent the soil from being carried away? The learners will acquire leadership skills, they will acquire interactive skills with the community members, and those life skills are very good for us beyond the classroom and beyond the grades. How does soil erosion affect food production and nutrition in this community? How does soil erosion contaminate the water down in the stream? All of those questions are important if we are to integrate cross-cutting issues. But if the teacher just stops at the types of soil erosion, ways of preventing soil erosion on the blackboard, then he has not integrated cross-cutting issues. Next slide. Rogers, our next slide. In English language, there is a topic about environment and pollution. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because of the time, but you could use an approach, a technique called think and wonder. You can say, what do I see here? What do I recognize? Then what do I think brought these materials here? And wonder what would happen if it remains. Those of you who have been around, you remember Chitezi, where we were dumping very many things and what happened there. So in English language, there is a clear topic of integrating cross-cutting issues. And it is called environment and pollution for senior ones. So how much are the teachers using this topic to integrate cross-cutting issues is the issue. Next slide. So the set theory, we can use it to teach the integration of cross-cutting issues in our teaching in mathematics. So I can use, if we have a lot of waste in our school, I ask the student to classify the materials or to sort the materials. They will get the organic, the plastics, the metallic, and separate them. We can do it on food. We can do it on plants and food, wastes and plastics, renewable plastics. The learners will now start seeing mathematics as a way, as a tool of sustainable waste management, of nutrition. Like I can eat foods on this side where we have mixed fruit organic, or I can eat food on this side where there is a hamburg. If I'm eating on this side where there is a hamburg, the French fries, or we call them what? People, chips. We are eating junk. And if we eat vegetables, banana, strawberries, you are eating healthy food. So you are making healthy choices. But these can be two sets. Some junk food can be part also of fresh food. So your lens of sets should not stop at the letters or numbers in the set, but should go into real life. And when you do that, you are integrating cross-cutting issues. You are integrating environmental awareness, health awareness, and informed decision-making, which is a life skill. We move to the next slide. So, as we reach this level, you need to map out activities according to your topic. Like in the topic of sets, I expect the teacher to say, to bring out waste, that the environmental awareness, I will deal with the wastes. Health awareness, I will deal with the foods. Citizenship, patriotism, I will talk about civic duties, how many people went to vote and how many didn't go. How many went for voting the president and also went for voting the MP. You will get intersections. And then you have a universal set of the Uganda people who can vote. We hear so many voters were expected, so many turned up, so many ballot papers. And you are still in sets and you are talking about ballot papers and voting. Life skills, these are very many. Teamwork, problem solving, as you address community issues. The participation of boys and girls, males and female in different activities. If you do all that, you pick your topic and break it up and how you are going to integrate these cross-cutting issues that are in the syllabus, then we are good to go. Each topic we have in the syllabus has an opportunity to integrate cross-cutting issues. So I'm encouraging you to include the cross-cutting issues. I hope I've reached the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Chair.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Matthias Mulumba. Before I invite members, the Q&A session, I want to say we thank our presenter for tonight for the deliberation and the integration of learned a lot about environmental awareness, mixed abilities, socio-economic issues and citizenship and patriotism, then life skills, notably do it yourself. And he said when he was in Bukande, he would call it Katogo. But in Lao, we also call it Nyogo Nyogo. That means you mix a number of things, but still to make sense of one thing. So we thank you for tonight's presentation. We also educated us on how we generate static electricity and how to integrate them into teaching and learning of whatever we are doing. Another one notably was integration of cross-cutting issues that you made mention that in any delivery of a content in the CBC, if you do not include the cross-cutting issue in your delivery, then you would be missing something. But thank you for educating members, teachers of Uganda about that. We wish that next time we call you to do that, we should know. Now, as I said before, Q&A session, you can put it in the chat. Let me invite Chair Betty of maybe to give a few remarks as we prepare to the other one, our presenter Mulumba prepares to answer questions that would arise out of this presentation. We are not yet time bad because we started. I would like Betty to use this room, then we call it a day. Hello, work is not clear. So we are in Q&A, that is open sharing. You can raise up your hand and you are picked. You can post it in the chat. Still, we shall be able.
There is Bossa, his hand is up.
Okay.
Hello, good. Is it a good evening to you, colleagues?
Say good evening.
Yes, I'm calling from California here. I am happy to hear everybody trying to push the new curriculum to another level. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mulumba, for giving me the link to this. I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for this innovation. It is great that this is the only way we can improve. I have been asking myself why the first question should have been why do we call them cross-cutting issues? The issues are called cross-cutting because they appear everywhere. When you talk about environmental awareness, every content in the curriculum, the moment you go to teach it, it appears in all other subjects, such that whenever you are talking about doing anything, know that it has a dimension in health, it has a dimension in climate, it has because everything we do is in the environment. We have to protect it. We have to sustain it. Therefore, Matthew, thank you so much. Colleagues, environmental issues is everything. Any action has to have an impact. The impact can be helpful or harmful. If it is harmful, how do we mitigate? How do we mitigate it? So, and you also know that whatever gets assessed gets taught. We also needed to say when we assess, how do we have multiple perspectives in the items we assess? The moment we do that, teaching, including cross-cutting issues, will come out automatically because when you ask a task, the task will require learner to look at multiple things. That is why I have issues with the kind of items I get to see coming out of the new curriculum. The moment we don't assess multiple perspectives in our tasks, we are not going to teach cross-cutting issues. I just want to stop there and just to think about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lutalo, for the addition. We still have more time. Can we have members?
Joram's hand is up.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me first appreciate Mr. Mulumba Matthias for this online lecture. Unfortunately, I didn't attend it in time. And let me wish we can get another time. I don't know. I'm just requesting if we can also get another time. And also he passed through these cross-cutting issues because some of us, we don't know exactly what it means. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can see no more hands up. Does it mean we have exhausted? Okay, Isaac Zirimbi, your hand is up. Can you unmute and talk?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mulumba. Thank you for the session. It's been a wonderful session. And maybe what I would like to add, when look at these cross-cutting issues to us teachers, I believe it is as we teach these learners in class, it's good also to go outside and we implement. For example, if you talk about environmental awareness, it's good for us to show it practically in the compound or even within the same class. You find you're in a class, learners are coming from break, they have polythene bags around their tables, they have cut there, like around their groups, maybe it is very dirty, yet you're teaching chemistry. Then there's no reason why you need to teach the cross-cutting issue above, like environmental awareness. So it's good, like as we teach it in class, when looking at air pollution in chemistry, let's see how are we handling our waste in our school. When they are burning maybe something in school, maybe in open air, like the bottles, do we go and we inform our learners about the effects, the dangers of such, and how we can mitigate? Like these live examples can be very important, and these learners get to connect what you're teaching them and then to what is outside there within our environment where we are living and where we're studying from. Yeah, thank you very much. I've learned a lot, and surely these sessions are doing a great work in us. Maybe as the secretary comes in, I'd put in the chat about the competitions which you are waiting upon. If you can give us the feedback on that, so that we can also alert our learners, because every time they normally ask what the program about the competitions, so that we can get a clear program and we inform them, and then they also settle. There's a way they are not settled before they get that final feedback. Otherwise, thank you very much for the session. May God bless you.
Chair,
Oh,
are
Mr.
you
Mulumba,
back? Hello, Chair.
Mr. Mulumba, you can go ahead.
No, I would like to thank all the people who are on the call. And as mentioned, we need to continue learning. As Bossa put it, all of these cross-cutting issues appear everywhere. And when we are teaching, the duty is on us. Pick the topic and see, how am I going to address gender issues? How am I going to address health awareness? How am I going to address life skills? How am I going to address patriotism in this topic? They are there, and we need to only start practicing. As Joram and Isaac has put it, what does it mean? We shall get another opportunity in the future and re-echo, because most people are not addressing cross-cutting issues. There is already a study going on around this country to find out how cross-cutting issues are being taught. We are going to get a report by end of August, and it will be informing us what gaps do we have in teaching cross-cutting issues. Finally, Isaac has mentioned that if we don't take the children to do something, they will not be able to appreciate cross-cutting issues. If we remain in the four walls and we say we are teaching competence-based, then we are missing a step. It is good as we become more aware, more sensitized, we shall take our children out to ensure that they see and appreciate that the curriculum can be only complete when all dimensions have been touched. And when we are assessing, we should also assess the same way, not only somebody saying, hey, I'm going to see the union of the set, but how is it applied in real life? The intersection of a set. What is a narrow set? What is an empty set? And so on. Let us see how it works in real life. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Over to you, Chair. I wish you good evening, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Mulumba, for the wonderful presentation. We thank you for your timely response whenever we have always knocked your door. We continue to have you as part of us in the struggle to see that this competence-based curriculum is implemented. As we come to the end, I would like to invite our chair, Betty Auma, to give us some closing remarks and then we can call it a day or a week, and then we start a new week. Madam, you're welcome. Betty, are you there? Hello? Yes. Yes, Rogers, I think there could be a problem with Betty. Let me hope everybody is listening to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr.
I can see a chat here. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bua,
Yes,
I think
sir.
we can, Madam, I don't know that Madam is able to say something, but I think we can conclude at this point. Madam Betty, yeah, for today, since we have had the final comment from the presenter, for Mr. Isaac who was asking for updates. Mr. Isaac, thank you for always tuning in for ProDev. Just continue coming when a new program is made, just like we communicated with the schools, communications will come through. If you see communication has not come through, it means the new program has not yet been drawn. Yeah, so just pray that you be patient, and the union is committed to continue supporting all its activities, and it will be ready to communicate when the time is right. Yeah, so Mr. Abua, I think we can just conclude for now. Yes.
Okay. Just I was also say all these programs that we have on ProDev, when you visit our YouTube channel, you will always get them. About the update of science innovation, I think we shall get you informed in touch with the program coordinators and what is going on there. But I'd like to thank everybody who logged in and participated in the program. Dates would come at an appropriate time, but not in a very far future. In the very near future, we shall be able to update everybody. However, whoever we have not updated or the schools not contacted, we apologize if they are there. And we managed to contact a greater number of schools about this competition. It was only postponed, not canceled. We still have programs coming up during the professional development hour. We have named it ProDev. So we thank everybody for tuning to this program. This is an innovation from the union to have all its members trained on the new curriculum, have its members updated on the sector that we have. We don't only have, we also have there. I would like to thank everybody who tuned in this evening. I want to wish you a good time and a good night. Thank you. I remain Obua Kizito, the Secretary for Education Committee, Professional Standard and Disciplinary of the Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. Have a good time. Thank you.